within that, just on our side of that 6.5 feet. Do you remember where they put
On the
it?
property line.
It's right basically on the property line.
I'll have a picture.
And that was approved also.
Yes,
Yes.
it was.
So do you have to, Max,
No, because, yeah, you can't submit your phone because they're gonna keep your phone. I can't do that.
do they have to go to the building department now? Or just, who approves the actual structure?
They only have the town of Stallings to go through.
Excuse me?
They only have to go through the town of Stallings for the permit for the pool. We don't do any other permits on the pool.
I mean, that is the permit.
The county
Yes, the
building?
county.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Yes.
thought you were asking if we did
Yeah.
anything else extra.
yeah.
We applied to the county, and then they gave it to y'all for Stallings. And said, y'all need to approve it, and then once you approve it, they'll send it back, and then they'll approve it.
Okay,
And they give it to us.
okay.
Got it.
Mrs. Wilson, I think you were trying to figure out the property line in the house.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
So I'll
think.
try to paint a picture for you. If you look at the home,
Yeah,
if you're facing the home,
yeah,
the edge of the side of the house, the left side of the house is here.
Yeah.
And their property line is approximately, I think it's 6 or 7 feet beside that.
yeah.
So when you get behind the house, the pool is actually
In,
behind the house.
tucked in.
Another 4 feet, which is typically a setback for most counties that I deal with. So the pool is within the framework of the house.
Yeah, I'm
which-
just trying to think, I have a pool next to me and it's close, and it seems closer than 15 feet. So
It probably
that's
is.
why I can't remember when they built that. That's why I'm saying, I mean, it's pretty close. So I'm thinking, how do I like that? And, just living there next to it and
Yeah, they're just small lots, but the houses even, the houses together are very close.
yeah.
So hopefully that helps you understand where we're
Yeah,
at.
that helps.
No, you're not gonna see it from the road.
Yeah, you're not, no, you're not.
And if
You have a
we
fence.
tried to move it so it had 15 feet on the side, we'd be messing with that sewer grinder
Yeah,
pump,
that-
which would be a mess. And then even that hill, there's just no way to shift it even to keep it behind the house and keep it within those 15 feet.
Like if that pool was there now and you drove by the house, you couldn't see it. Couldn't see it.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
How many feet from, say, that wide part right above the 10.4? See how it goes that wide? How many feet across is it to where that hot tub is? Like at an angle. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, you mean the pool itself?
Yeah.
Oh, I would be doing a guess based on so the widest part of that pool is 15 feet where you see that little bench beside the spa.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's probably 12, 13 feet. Where you see the sun shelf with the 2 chairs in it.
Yeah.
Right in front of that. So where the 10.4 hits across to the spa, probably 12, 13 feet is my best guess.
Any other questions? Close the hearing.
All right, so we're going on to the statements of justification. The first statement of justification is unnecessary hardship would result from the strict application of the ordinance. Expense is not a valid hardship. The applicant's response was our property is 0.235 acres with a steep sloping backyard and right side yard. There is a septic grinding pump located in the backyard closer to the house, which limits the location of the pool. The left side of the property only has 6.5 feet from the house to the next house's property line. There are woods lining the back and right sides of the property. Anything else?
Yes,
Okay, yes.
if you agree with those facts and agree with the notion that there is an unnecessary hardship, you need to add one more sentence that says, without a variance, the applicant would be unable to build a pool on this property.
That's for everything, every single one of them. Okay, yeah, just in case for future reference, there are 4 statements of justification. And without the variance, without each of those statements passing unanimously, then the variance will not pass.
And Mr. Chairman, we'll need to go through these and each one vote it as it's done. So do y'all have any changes that you would make to that statement as a response of a finding of fact under the first required finding?
So do we make a motion on this?
Yes, ma'am. When y'all are satisfied that fairly represents the evidence presented and is your opinion, yes, we need a motion to adopt that finding of fact with the added sentence.
The added sense of being, if a variance,
Without a variance, the applicant would be unable to build a pool on this property.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we agree with what the applicant said about unnecessary hardship, adding that without a variance, the applicant would be unable to build a pool on its property.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
You need to discuss it first. Is everybody ready to vote?
Everybody ready to vote?
Sorry, I just voted.
Fire away.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No.
And Mr. Chairman, you're voting too?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
all right, so the next statement, justification. The hardship results from conditions that are peculiar to the property, such as location, size, or topography. And is this where I would add, without the variance, they would not be able to build the pool? And then I read the response. Is that appropriate?
Yes.
Okay. So without, this hardship will result from conditions that are peculiar to the property, such as location, size, or topography. And without the variance passing, they will not be able to build the pool. The response from the applicant is our property is unique in size and topography. The lot is a smaller lot with steep sloping back and right side yard and a septic grinding pump located in the backyard. Past the back property line is woods. There will not be any new construction past our rear yard property line into the woods.
I need a motion.
But, Mr. Chairman, if the board agrees with that statement, I would add one more piece to say that the location, the topography and the location of the septic grinder pump limits the area where a pool could be located.
Sounds good.
The conclusory statement for that.
Okay.
Did you get that? We got that.
Need a motion.
Okay, so we're saying we'll make a motion that the hardship results from conditions that are peculiar to the property, such as the location, size, or topography, and the location of the septic grinder.
All of what's written there, plus the location, the topography and the location of the septic grinder pump limit the area where a pool could be located.
That.
Okay, that was,
He has it.
yeah, and that
Have
was
a
second.
second.
Okay, and then, did you make the motion to approve, or did I? Okay, and then you second? Okay, I didn't catch it, I just want to make
All
sure.
in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Third hardship, third statement justifications, excuse me. The hardship did not result from actions taken by the applicant or the property owner, and if this does not pass, then they will not be able to build the pool. The response from the applicant was, the house was built on a smaller lot with sloping back and right side yards. There is only 6.5 feet on the left side of the property. The setbacks limit the size of a yard where a pool could be built along with the location of the septic pump.
And if the board agrees with that, and the next statement, which would be, the topography and location of the grinder pump were as shown in the pictures presented when the applicant purchased the property.
Say that again now, get it in my brain.
The topography and location of the grinder pump were as shown in the pictures presented by the applicant when the applicant purchased the property. Point being, the applicant didn't grade the lot or put the grinder
Put
pump
the
in the right
grinder, I
place.
got you. That's what I was,
That could
that's
be
what I
my
was
motion,
hoping.
right?
Yes.
Okay, that's my motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, and the final statement of justification. The requested variance is consistent with the spirit, purpose, and intent of the ordinance, such that public safety is secured and substantial justice is achieved. And if this does not pass, then they will not be able to build the pool. The response from the applicant is the pool location will not interfere with any other property, nor will it interfere with any sightlines. Our neighborhood does not have a community pool and will not have one in the future. There have been no changes in the property since we purchased in 2018. We are not changing the use of the property. This property is a single-family home and it will not be will not be renting it out. The pool will be used for our family to enjoy.
All right, I need to stop you for a second.
Yeah, sorry.
The law allows you to place conditions on a variance. I would interpret one of those statements as being an offer of a condition, and that is that the house will not be rented out. There is an issue with that, though, because if you adopt that as a condition, that condition goes with the property. Even when these folks sell it to the next buyer, it would go with the condition that it could not be rented out. But you understand what I've just said?
Yeah.
And you're,
Can I respond to that real quickly?
please do.
Okay, in our neighborhood, there is, in the bylaws or the homeowners agreements, it is stated that only a certain percentage of homes are allowed to be leased out anyway. I think it's up to 3, and right now there are 3 that are owned by developers or by bigger companies that have them leased out. So there is a governance in our bylaws already that states only a certain amount of properties can be rented out.
But that could change in the future. The 3 could be,
Yeah.
yours
You
could
are-
be one
you
of
are
the
correct.
3.
It could change depending on who owned the houses, who owned the lots, how things changed with it. As of right now, I think we've only had 2 houses actually sell, 2 or 3 houses sell in the neighborhood. And one of them was bought by a bigger company who rents it out. And so right now, there are all the limits are there for what can be rented out and leased out. And I understand completely that maybe that should not have been put in there. But we were trying to do the right thing by saying, we want this for our use. We want this for us. We're not planning on Airbnb-ing it. We're not planning on doing anything else with it. But I get it, and fortunately, our homeowners does have a law written in there about it.
So do you want that in there or not?
I mean, what
Can we
what
take-
difference would it make? I mean, because all these other people have pools, all, you know,
Is the applicant
I mean,
able to retract that
I
second and
allowed
last
to?
sentence?
Well, the planning director can suggest in his proposed findings that that's out, if that's what you agree to.
yeah, I don't understand what the really big difference that would really make. I mean, because any house in Union, all these other houses in Union County have pools. And there are no, some of the neighborhoods don't have any restrictions on them, whether they can be Airbnb or rented by Invitation Homes, bought up and rented, you know, out. So I don't,
If we pass it like that, then they can,
They
no
can
no one
never.
can rent it.
yeah,
Right,
and
then they can't
what
rent the
difference
house
does that
out.
make
Yeah.
though? Because
My recommendation
other
is
than to the neighbor next.
to
Them too, financially.
retract that second to last line because it follows the property for life, for forever.
Strike
And
the 2 last lines, Max, this property, and then the pool will be used for our family to enjoy, or just leave that one in?
You can leave the second. I mean, you can leave the pool will be used for our family to enjoy.
Okay.
It's not necessary. I would take that out.
That's a hearsay.
You don't want to be anywhere near the line that something looks like a condition, unless you want it to be a condition. So if you're not interested in the conditions, I would take out both of the last 2 sentences.
Last 2 sentences.
I'm okay with that.
And I would probably add 1 sentence that
agree.
says, "The next door neighbor was notified but is not present at this hearing to object or present evidence." You have testimony from the applicant that they notified them, and you can look in the audience and see that that neighbor is not here.
And there was a sign posted on the
It's-
property.
It's hearsay that the neighbor
Yeah.
told her he didn't object. That we can't put in there, but we can say,
He was notified.
she testified he was notified and you see he's not here to object or present
Now,
evidence.
what happens if he comes in and says he wasn't notified?
Is it
Do you
notified?
publish notice?
It was, yes, every property within 500 feet was notified. It was put in the paper, and it was also posted on, a zoning sign was posted in the front of their property.
Okay,
And it was posted online.
Okay.
okay. If that's all in the file or record.
Yes.
Yeah.
You answered my question.
Yep.
Thank you.
I even received a letter, so I know that the letters went out.
I guess you agreed then. Huh?
I do agree with it, I'm not opposing it.
All right, so as I understand it, the board is saying you want this statement minus the last two sentences with the addition of the sentence that says the next door neighbor was notified but is not present to object or present evidence.
Correct.
Correct, and I'll make that motion.
I did.
Oh, you did already?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll second that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right?
Final act is for the board to make a motion to grant the variance.
I move that the variance is granted.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And then adjournment is the last.
Do we hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Yeah, I have a motion to adjourn.
She
Denise-
did.
oh, Okay, second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
All right.
I thought you said something, but I wasn't sure.
No, you have to do it, no, and I love the fact you had the script, I was able to follow along.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Good job, folks.
Well,
Good job.